Have you ever walked into a home or a bakery, you guys, where bread is being made, where it's being baked? Isn't the smell that hits you as soon as you walk into those places awesome? It's like, And have you ever wondered about the story of bread? How it's made? Where it comes from? Well, it all begins with a tiny little seed. Once upon a time, there was a tiny little seed that fell into the ground. And it landed on good soil. And soon the soil covered that tiny little seed, and the water soaked through its shell, and something new happened. Something new pushed forth from the earth. And as the sun shone on it, and the soil continued to feed it, that seed grew until it became a beautiful wheat plant. That single sheaf of wheat now covered fields and fields and acres and miles of this incredible planet. That single sheaf created more seeds that also fell to the ground until the world was covered with beautiful fields of wheat. That went on and on for thousands and thousands of years. But on its own, that was as far as the seed could go, was to make the wheat. It's as far as it could go for a long, long time. Many years later, human beings came along. And human beings realized that they could take that wheat, they could grind it down, this wheat. They could grind it down and mix it with a few other ingredients and bake it over a hot fire. And that seed was transformed into bread. For thousands of years it was just this, but that's as far as it could go. And then human beings came along and figured out they could transform this, into bread. They realized that it had a higher purpose now, to feed and nourish human beings. The seed which had become wheat with the help of people now became bread. But human beings alone had done all they could. And for thousands of years, this was it. This was all we had for thousands of years, because human beings took wheat to bread as far as they could. And it could reach no higher purpose. And then one night actually, and it just was the night before he was going to die, one of those human beings, a man, was eating bread with his friends. And he did something no human being had ever done before. He took the bread. He said a blessing over it. And he said new words. He said, "This is my body. This is my body which will be given up for you." And we know that the bread did become bread, but this time with a capital B. The bread of life. That bread had reached its highest purpose in this universe. What an amazing seed that simple, what an amazing thing that simple seed could become beautiful bread, and now could become the body of Christ. It became the bread. The bread had reached a higher purpose. What an amazing thing this is, really. An amazing thing to become the very body of Christ. But that wasn't even enough, really. God had done everything God could do to take bread and make it his own life for the life of the world. Something else has to happen now for that miracle of life to continue to emerge, and that is for us to take this in and become what we eat, for us to become now the very body of Christ, which was given to us. Now we can be transformed as well. God went as far as God could go in doing this for us, and now it falls to us. Now it's ours to take this holy bread into the world by the way we live, to become the bread of life for other people, to become the body of Christ now for the world. So that, for example, how many of you have little brothers and sisters at home? Anybody got a little brother and sister at home of you guys? I mean, you know what that's like, right? So how about if they get on your nerves and they annoy you? You can do one of two things, right? You can react, call them names, pull your toy back, tell them to get out of your face, or you can just say, well, he's just a little kid. I forgive him. I got other toys. I got other things I can do. See what I mean? Which one's the body of Christ in the world? Which one's Jesus? Not fighting back, right? We have those choices all the time we can make to now become the body of Christ, the bread of life now for ourselves. But it all begins with a seed, you know? Begins with a seed which becomes wheat, which is turned into bread, which is turned into the God-man, which is given to us so that we can be part of this happening, this miracle of transformation. I don't know about you, but this is an amazing story. The story of bread. It's amazing. Wheat becoming bread, becoming body, becoming us now. And I just shake my head. I just shake my head at a God who can do this, who is still doing it, who always has and always will. Could God be any more amazing? I don't think so. But God always is.